I shall just go live here. I clicked the button. Yeah, there was like a good 10-day span where I couldn't stream a fucking thing. Like, at all. It was so weird, and all the internet company was said is, it's summer. I'm like, that's not an excuse. It was like, that's not how the internet works. I don't know. What does that even mean? Ready. Well, the current resolution is 852 by 480, which is not supported. The expected video is 1280 by 720. Oh, come on, YouTube. Get a break. Your quality is not good enough for YouTube. It's not like YouTube can handle it anyways. All right. Sure, sure. Cool. You can be a stream. Oh, look, all of a sudden my stream health went up, and YouTube's like, okay, your terrible quality that we said before, it's fine now. Like, it's still 480. Are you streaming this now as well? Oh. Are you familiar with Mixer, my good sir? No. I really like Mixer. The only issue with it is you can't choose the quality of video you want to watch. So, like, let's say you're watching a stream and it's buffering a lot and your internet's, like, shitting out, so you want to watch, like, I don't know, 480 instead of the 1080, so you can at least keep watching them smoothly. You can't do that with Mixer. Yeah. That's the only bummer about it, but I find, like, the streams are much more healthy on Mixer anyways. Yeah. Alright, playback devices. Let's see here. Order of a what now? Oh, yeah, kinda.
But I want to beat it because I beat the other two.
Alright.
It's like they have the map on the top screen, like it looks like it's going to be Symphony of the Night, but it's like a bunch of little levels that are kind of linear. So I'm like, why are you trying to make it seem like Symphony of the Night? Stop it. Instead of one like big open level. This isn't how it works. Just commit to one style or the other. Holy shit, it's Colin.
Oh.
Oh, Colin's here.
Oh, pre-show's over.
And I'm kind of eating.
God damn it, Colin.
Hey, I'll be quick.
We got things to do. We are professionals. Are we professionals?
I mean, Doing this year and a half now, officially.
No. Where's our paychecks? I don't see us getting paid yet for this shit.
Well, we don't get anything for it.
Where's your David's tea money?
We lost it because I was bowling bad for a while, and I don't live in Canada anymore.
I see one of those problems could be fixed easily.
Well, I am bowling well now.
So get good, exactly.
But I don't live in Canada anymore, and it was a Canadian
Fuck
company.
Canada.
It is a Canadian company.
Go back to Canada, Iowa. You ever see that? It was like somebody was like, I guess Iowa like had like the bagged milk. It was like a Reddit thread. It's like, the fuck is this? Oh, it's bagged milk. They do it all the time in Canada. Where are you from, Iowa? Go back to Canada, Iowa. Nobody needs you.
As it just so happens, the biggest audience for the Red Green Show, which is a very, very Canadian show, happens to be in Iowa.
God damn it, go back to Canada, Iowa. It's not a state.
So Colin, have you taken the chance to look at the agenda?
Exactly. What's an agenda?
Was that a yes? Was that a no? Was that a my audio cut out so I didn't hear you?
Your audio cuts out a lot lately. JD's, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, it's summer. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Didn't fucking realize it. You know what my streaming can't handle? Having a webcam and a fucking, like, my game footage at the same time.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's how shitty my internet is. I think it could just do gameplay. It might handle that.
I'm curious now. I'm gonna check something right fast.
Do it, bitch. Hurry up and eat. Let's get this show on the road.
Or at least returning night.
I'm eating.
It's much.
I
I don't know if you can hear it.
Doesn't.
I can hear it.
Sucks because they are winning. Like they are winning the sales war right now, so we
Yeah.
are not making.
All right, that
Like I
works.
said,
Oh, gross
I
eating.
We got to be done by 9, so we got to fucking roll.
Yeah, come on, Colin. You done yet? I haven't eaten
Chug,
anything either.
chug,
I'm gonna eat.
chug,
I'm gonna eat
chug,
after this
chug.
stuff.
Chug, chug, chug.
Yeah, but it's been a busy day at work, so I can't wait that long.
Ugh. Who has a job in this economy?
Well, that's a good point. Fucking nerd.
To have money, so suck on that.
Got you there. Only hitting him where it fucking hurts.
All right, so I'm gonna move us into podcast recording. There we are.
All right. Squidward, Squidward.
That come from?
Just being me, man.
Wer lebt in einer Anana unter dem See? SpongeBob Schwammkopf.
You know, that sounds way more fucking evil when you do it that way. If nautical nonsense be something you wish!
Oh God, what was the? How does the rest go?
I don't.
It's very similar. It's not important. I don't remember
Yeah,
it anymore.
it sounds important. I don't know about you.
I don't even know the lyrics after that in English. So why would I know it in German?
You're German?
I'm not German. I have German blood
Who
in me.
decided to speak German?
You what?
Who decides to speak German voluntarily?
I did.
Angry people. That's who.
I was an angry teenager for the most part. Yeah.
I'm half German. I can't really say much.
Half German. So what? Your mom or dad's German from Germany?
Well, the way my sweet grandmother described it was, well, on your mother's side, you're 100% Italian, so you're about 50, and on our side of the family, our ancestors are what you would call whores, and you're just like a little bit of everything. So if anyone asks, just say German and Italian. I go, okay, thanks, Graham. She's like 74.
Well, my grandfather's like 92.
Oh, wait, no, I lied. 84. I got it backwards.
Oh wow, you're like almost 10 years off.
Yeah, whatever. All I know is she's old.
Was she born in America?
Yeah.
Oh, well then you're American.
Yeah. That's honestly the one thing about this country. We all say like, "Oh, I'm this and this," but like go to another country like, "I am Finnish." Yes. Like, okay, you're American. Got it. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, that kind of bugs me now because how many generations does it take for you to just be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the blood's so diluted at this point.
We're American. Like, let it go. No,
Yeah.
but what is your heritage? USA. USA.
Like, both my parents were born in America, but 3 out of 4 of my grandparents were born and raised in Germany from German parents, so...
Just, I'm American. That's my nationality.
I think there was, like, one British dude at some point down the line, but I think he was German or something. I don't know. I took that DNA test, and it was, like, 80% German. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wait, you went from, like, Ancestry?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm born in Utah, so I had, like, the free
Yeah.
Mormon genetic search or whatever the fuck it was called.
You are gonna fucking have your shit cloned as fuck. Just so you know.
That's okay.
Is it though?
If I come back and a doppelganger of myself is just be like, hey, I'm you, and be like, okay, you go work.
Damn it, he's got me there.
You can go work. I'll live at home and chill.
I've always wanted to have a twin brother and just be like, all right, you want to go to work today? Like, I would have worked for like a way higher paying job and better at school. And be like, the next half of my life, we're gonna fucking coast it, bro. Every other day we'll switch off. Who's got the 3-day week this week?
Or you just work every other week.
No, I would just like get straight A's in high school, so we get like me and him land $100K plus a year a job, right?
Right.
Then we both make like $50K a year, live pretty average lives, but we don't gotta fucking bust our ass.
You only work half the year.
Don't you remember where you put your pens yesterday? I wasn't feeling good yesterday. Oh,
I forgot. Jimmy, did you get the thing? Oh, that's right. I'm Kevin today. Fuck.
Listen, I've heard you've been sexually harassing Sarah, the receptionist, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Shit.
Oh, jeez.
You get home, Jimmy. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It's Wednesday.
It's you know that's only good for Tuesdays.
You can't harass her on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, man. Shit, this sounds like a sweet ass idea. Who wants to be my twin brother?
Who's getting the
Definitely.
plastic surgery?
That requires surgery. I hate needles. Ignore my tattoos.
Colin,
Yes.
Did you eat yet?
you done yet?
Well done.
All right.
All
Fucking get the show on the road. Let's go. We got 2.5 hours to get this stuff.
Alrighty. Going live. Oh, more people are... Wow. People are live. That's going live. I need now live.
Fuck them.
Whatever.
All right.
Colin, you
Alright.
got the agenda up by any chance?
Mm-hmm.
You guys got Audacity ready to go?
I bet had it ready to go because I was on time. Oh, I should probably open the agenda again.
Excuse me for waiting through awful traffic.
You're fucking forgiven.
Okay, well, I'll do the countdown then. Kevin, why don't you do the intro today?
Oh! Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, baby. I know you had a long, long day at work, but kick your feet up. Relax to the sultry, soothing voices of Mushenspiel, Colin, and Kevin at the Red Leaf Retrocast.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Delicious.
Just brilliant. Now what shall we rip off next? Cheers? Sometimes you wanna listen.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Sometimes you want to listen to this show.
Kevin, what are we talking about on today's episode?
Wow, we're really fucking jumping into it. Hi.
Well, what are we? What's the agenda for the episode?
The agenda. Today we speak of thoughts on Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. I'm reading right from the script. What our thoughts are on the Atari VCS. That exists for a reason. The Intellivision is coming back. We're clearly not learning from history. And a few games we picked an interesting theme. I think it's our best theme so far because I picked it. It's gonna be a fun ride. Strap in. Put that thing away. Save it for when you go to bed. Get the lube off it. Stop it. What? Just stop it. Stop it. Enjoy the Red Leaf Retrocast.
I have all the lube and ready to go. I even got some Crisco on the side.
Yeah, your camera's on when you're on Twitch. I need you to shut it off. People can see the thing. People can see what's in your hand.
My hands are free. It's okay. They're
That's
above
the scary part.
They are above the pant line.
You don't need your hands for what you're doing.
Oh no, where's my pen so I can mark the stuff down? There it is.
What the hell do you need a pen for?
Because I take timestamps, Kevin. Because this is professional, I think, kinda.
Yeah, well, we're totally starting this in the best professional way ever.
Always. I mean, you came to the Red Leaf Retrocast for this kind of quality.
I did not. I was forced here. True story. I thought I was going to be a guest on this. Turns out they were like, "Yeah, you're going to be on the next one, right?" I was like, "I am." Oh.
And look what happened. Over a year later.
I have to commit to this fucking thing?
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, and I'm glad you're here. I'm also glad Colin's here. How you doing, Colin?
Doing all right. Just came away from a rather busy day at work. Waded through a whole ton of traffic just to get here, and I'm glad I came.
Thank you for flying into Rhode Island for this.
Excuse me.
Nah, he's the resident Canadian, as there's always a foreigner on every cast, it seems.
I thought it was token Canadian. Isn't that the word?
Well, yeah, we miss Josh.
I don't know what that word means.
We definitely miss Josh. Otherwise, Colin would not be the token Canadian.
That's right. Consider yourself a bench warmer.
Yeah, right, you hosers.
You hosers. Go back to Canada, Iowa.
Well, get your all-dressed chips ready, because we're going to snap into some games we've been playing lately. Colin, what do you got?
I'm still kind of making my way through the B-sides of the stages of Celeste, but I also went to Anime North recently and got a butt ton of PS4 games.
Oh. He did say butt. Did you stick him up there when you stole him?
Shh.
People don't steal in Canada.
Oh, that's right. He'd probably say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to take him, eh?"
I gotta borrow these, eh?
But yeah, I got Final Fantasy 15.
Check.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Check.
Also nice.
Bloodborne.
Ooh. Very good check.
Heavy Rush 2. And a few non-PS4 titles like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh, wow. Going GameCube, are you?
Yeah. And Resident Evil 3. But last but not least, which I have actually started playing,
Resident Evil
Uncharted
3.
4.
Resident Evil 3 on what?
You didn't say Resident Evil 3.
Last but not least, one I actually have started playing, Uncharted 4.
Ooh.
And did you start that, or did you just get it?
I started it last night.
Oh, cool. How'd you like the introduction sequence?
That boat sequence is pretty intense, and then the whole stealth sequence in the the Catholic school was kind of fun. It's just whole tutorial basically, but I enjoyed it.
Did you get to the part where he gets the? Wait, so you've seen what's her name? What's her name? Ella, Eileen. What's his wife's name?
Ellie, I think.
No,
No. That's Last of Us.
That's also
That's the other Naughty Dog game.
It's also not his wife. Thank you,
Elena.
Elena. Yeah. Did you get to that part yet, Colin?
Not yet. I've only done like the prison section.
I won't ruin a nice little moment in that game. It's right in the beginning.
Now that you mentioned the prison section, I did play a bit of A Way Out for the Modern Game podcast a couple months ago, and now that I think on it, the prison section in Uncharted 4 was just the light version of A Way Out without all the dumb stupid mini games.
Cool.
Word.
So I also played a bit of Bloodstained.
Oh yeah, that exists.
Oh well,
Get into that when we start talking about it.
Yeah, definitely. Kevin, you started diving balls deep into Sleeping Dogs, didn't you?
Balls deep into Sleeping Dog. I didn't know if it was my turn yet because I could go deep. Is it my turn? I'm gonna say it.
Go for it.
It's my turn. Sleeping Dogs is fucking awesome. Have you guys ever played it?
Nope, but I know of its existence.
So, well, yeah, you should. It's I have never played a Yakuza, but like I guess the best way to describe it is like it kind of is like a Yakuza game, but it was supposed to be true crime Hong Kong, but I guess Activision like didn't want to give up the rights to the developers, so they said "fuck you, we're going to Square," and then they used the name Sleeping Dogs for whatever reason. But you're an undercover cop who gets like way too into being with the triads, and he kind of like starts really getting into it, like becoming a triad. And as an undercover cop, I'm pretty sure you can't just put people's heads in air conditioning units and chop them off, no matter if it's self-defense, or kick them through aquarium doors, or really just murder them. But I guess in Sleeping Dogs land you can. It game's really good. For anyone that watches MMA, if you know George St. Pierre, he did all the fight choreography for this game.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so all the motion capture is how George fights, like the way he does like his heel kicks. That's how George does them. Like it's all him doing the motion capture.
Cool.
So the fighting's real good. I can tell that it was one of those games where, even though it came out on PS3 first and it was a little while till the PS4 came out,
right,
you can tell this game was meant for like the next gen because PS3 was a little janky. There's a couple glitches, but nothing game breaking. It's just like it's a little rough.
Yeah, it's a type of game that's always like at most $10 on Steam.
Yeah, it was the PS3 one was on sale for $199, and then the next week the PS4 version was like $399 on PSN. So I was like, well, you should buy it. But actually, I'm playing it off this, what's it called, the Ultimate Action Pack for PS3, which comes with Just Cause 2, Sleeping Dogs, and Deus Ex.
Oh.
No, not Deus Ex. Just Cause, Sleeping Dogs. Shit. What's the other game on there?
I don't know. It clearly has to rhyme, doesn't it?
No, Tomb Raider.
That's a good package.
Yeah, it was like $10 when I bought it at GameStop. I was like, fuck yeah.
Kind of matches that lube you got ready for your own package, doesn't it?
Listen, what you and I do off camera is no one else.
All right. That was that. You know what? That was what we did on the pre-show. We don't do that's for the Patreon listeners.
Yeah, subscribe to Patreon. I've also been playing Castlevania: Order of Ecclesia on the DS, which is the weakest of the DS trilogy, but I want to beat it because I love Castlevania. I don't really know what to say about it other than you're not Symphony of the Night. And then I've kind of been playing a bunch of Monster Hunter World again because it's a good.
Monster Hunter World was a good game for sure. Is a good game.
Whoa, you take back that was bullshit right now.
I corrected myself. Calm down.
My cat looks like Mega Man.
How many hours would you say you put into that game already?
I don't want to disclose that number in public.
Why not? People put in like thousands of hours into it.
The thing is, I'm definitely not that far because I'm just, I don't know. I know it's a game with a story that I'm not really trying to beat, so I just kind of pop it on and play it when I want to. So I don't have a number, but like I'm only at like the was it 8-star quests? I think.
Well, what's your save file shows how long you've been playing.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to it. I'm hunter rank like 13. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I put
that gives you an idea.
about I think it was 75 hours in the game before I
Did you
completed
ever
the
beat it?
story.
There's credits or no? Is it just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
keeping
yeah,
it?
yeah. There's credits. There's
Oh, okay.
2. I think it goes through the credits twice actually, because there's
Ooh.
game and then there's a story continuation post game after that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, one day I'll get there, but I've
Yeah.
never beat a Monster Hunter, but I loved it.
No, Monster Hunter World was. I mean, I spoke in the January Modern Cast episode. I spoke extremely high about it. I had a lot to say now that I've completed the game for what I want to do. I know there's a lot of post-game content to do. There's always, I guess you can call them raids or whatnot that Capcom likes putting out for free. Well, thank God they do, and it's not DLC. But yeah, it's a super fun game. You know, I'm not the kind of guy who's into live service type games. You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. I when I was going to do stuff for my cat, they gave you a quest. I forgot 2 Odogarans you had to kill, a big one and a little.
Mhm.
But like they jacked them up in strength, so you really had to do it with people to like get it done. So I kept having to play with these like other things called humans. And I don't want to. I want to be by myself.
Yeah, I made it my mission to I made my own kind of separate story of it. I wanted to beat every main monster in the game in the story mode that it wants you to do at least once by myself, and then if I had to or wanted to do the game loop where you got to kill the same monster over and over again to get the items for the armors or the weapons, etc., then I would play with other people.
Yeah.
There was only one monster in the game in particular that I just could not beat by myself, and that was that asshole. And it wasn't Nergigante, it was there's a steel dragon, and the weapon I used in the game was not ideal for that sucker.
What'd
at
you
all.
use?
I used the jumping glaive, the insect glaive.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, I just hop around in the air and just have tons of fun. But anyways, I spoke on the most recent Modern Cast how I'm balls deep in Ikaruga and it's hard as shit. And I'm really bad at it, so it's a really bad combination.
Ikaruga's cool, man.
I'm so happy it came out of the Switch. It is such a good game for the handheld console that it is.
It is. Look, it's a home system.
Don't get me with the pedantics right now.
It's whatever I want it to be to win an argument.
So, what do you say we get in our first little topic that I got here, and that is the thoughts on Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Oh, that. I had to see a doctor. Go on.
Yeah, Colin, why don't you get us started on this? Because even though I spoke about it on the most recent Modern Cast episode, because it's such a reminiscent game of the past, I was just curious about you guys' thoughts.
You guys'
I should probably start by saying I haven't played that many Castlevania games. The first Castlevania game I played, or the only one I've played all the way through to the end, is Castlevania Circle of the Moon for Game Boy Advance.
What a random one to only play.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's not a bad one. I was just like normally people shoot for like 3, 1, 4, like Symphony of the Night.
Well, I didn't have any of the systems those were on.
Well,
so...
I'll go fuck myself. I'm sorry.
But yeah. I have played a tiny bit of the first Castlevania on NES, but I never really continued with it from there. But I can tell this game definitely feels a lot like the NES Castlevania. Like it's got the same graphics, same color scheme. It has 2 modes. One's like novice mode where you don't get knocked back if you get damaged, and the veteran mode where you do. And that's That's something you really got to watch out for in this game because there's a lot of platforming involved. But
until you get the Dracula character and you just turn into a bat and say fuck it.
Look, even Ego said that the knockback was bullshit in Castlevania.
Yeah. But yes, you start off with a character who's just a sword-wielding dude looking to kill all demons, and then more different characters with varied skill sets. First, there's this chick who uses a whip and can do like slide maneuvers. She's the most useful. She doesn't have as much health as the main guy, but she has a lot more reach and can jump higher and can reach the hard to reach areas with like power-ups and such. Next guy's like an alchemist. He basically he'll generate like a shield around the character, and then you can just switch back to your preferred character. And then, as you mentioned,
really inconvenient shield.
And as JD mentioned, the Dracula character who can basically summon bats and turn into a bat. I haven't played much with him yet, but I know he exists. And yeah, it's a really enjoyable game thus far. It's very retro, really feels like Castlevania. And of course, it's not unlike Circle of the Moon. It's not all one big level with multiple sections. It's a linear game, really, with some branching paths. But that's not a problem for me.
No, it's I absolutely adore this game. It just basically cemented my thought that Konami can just go die in a hole and keep making their pachinko machines in Japan.
Excuse me, they make Super Bomberman R. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to rebuy the game on the PS4 now because Ratchet and Clank isn't on the Switch version.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I shouldn't have to buy your game twice. Shout out to the guy I saw on Facebook last night who's a fucking idiot.
Such a rash comment to make about a mediocre game.
You shouldn't have to buy it twice. Then don't make better financial decisions. I don't know what to tell you.
Ratchet and Clank and Bomberman aren't a necessity.
Now I have to buy it twice. This is bullshit, Konami. Before we derail, we should probably go back.
Oh, well, it's funny we bring up Bomberman. I actually just bought Bomberman 94 on my PC Engine on eBay for like $10 yesterday, so I'm excited for that.
PSN. So there's that.
But back to Bloodstained. There's still some issues surrounding the game with people that were a part of the Kickstarter still haven't received their codes, especially in North America. There's just some workaround through Sony and I believe Nintendo. It's just processing errors. It's nothing on the company or even Sony or Nintendo itself. It's just part of the red tape that they got to get by. It's just a shame. That's all that is. But I really like the game. I've played it through 3 times now. The third time, you can get through the whole thing in about 3 hours.
Oh,
not that long.
If that long. There was just one section of the game I got super stuck on, and it took me like 30 minutes. But if you play on casual, you can beat the whole game in like an hour and a half.
Fucking casual.
But it does encourage you to play a second time. I won't tell you the little twist that it wants you to do that. So, who's your favorite character, Colin?
Like I said, the whip chick, whose name currently escapes me. Like I said, she's the most useful. Well,
she's also the main character in the Bloodstained game that's coming out.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, this Curse of the Moon is about Zangetsu, the samurai dude. I forgot to mention, actually, because I was speaking such high praise of it in the Modern Cast, that the idea of the Curse of the Moon is, let's say a character dies, and the game doesn't really tell you to do this at all. I didn't figure it out till I was like halfway through the game, that when you press start, like let's say a character dies, like you jump in a pit or something, character dies, you can activate, go in the start menu and activate Curse of the Moon, and you can actually put yourself back at a checkpoint via like the Shovel Knight technique.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that.
And then your character's back to life, and then you can just replay.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool mechanic. I just wish I discovered it sooner.
Why would they not tell you that?
Point.
It seems weird.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of weird. I just happened to be like, I wonder what this is, and then because I just never looked at it before, and sure as shit, it's kind of a main part of the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it seems so like necessary, and they're like, nah, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I loved how all the boss fights were very very interesting. Just reminds me of how well Shovel Knight was made, and this game reminded me a lot of that. So if I'm as a retrocast, and I've listened to other retro gaming podcasts where they talk about kind of these new 8 to 16-bit type games that are coming out today that are reminiscent of days past. So like Shovel Knight, now we got Curse of the Moon, Iconoclast that just came out on the Vita in January this year, got good reviews. That's like in the old Super Nintendo type 16-bit graphics. It's all really cool games that are coming out. They're all solid. Yeah.
I really need to get back to Shovel Knight at some point. I have it on my 3DS.
Dude, I beat the game like 4 times. It's so good. I think I beat it in like every different way.
Kevin, didn't you get Bloodstained?
Yeah, but I didn't play it yet, and I'm really upset with how I bought it. So I thought it was a Switch exclusive, so I was like, fine, I'll get something for this Switch thing. And I was like, yeah, and then like I was like, let me check PSN to make sure, and I typed it in, I spelled it right, and it didn't show up. And like right after I bought the Switch version, it like showed up on PSN. I was like, son of a bitch!
All you had to do was go to Wikipedia.
Fuck Wikipedia. My English teacher won't let me use it. So I don't know. I mean, I don't regret buying it on Switch. It's just like I want that thing to be like an exclusive machine, because 9 times out of 10, I know this game wouldn't really apply to that. Like things just are cheaper and run better on other systems.
Sure.
But like, so I kind of just want to keep it for like what it's good at. But whatever, it's on there now, so I'll play it eventually. After
I know what you mean. I'm more or less using my Switch as an exclusive machine as well.
Yeah,
or just games in general that I just haven't gotten before. Rayman Legends comes to mind.
Yeah, but like again, that as far as I know, it still runs better on like the PS4. So I was like, well, and it's a 2D platformer. So.
I thought it ran perfectly fine. I didn't have any issues with it. So, we got anything more else to say about Bloodstained?
It's cool.
It's cool.
Is the Wii U version still coming out?
I don't think so, actually.
Better fucking do it. That's the one I backed. No, I didn't.
I think once the Switch was announced, they canceled that in the Kickstarter.
I'm going to look.
If memory serves. Don't quote me on that one.
Oh, I'm going to look right fucking now.
So why don't we get into our first main topic here? What do you guys say as I play this drop?
I can't hear it, so I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Oh, it is canceled. God damn it.
Yeah, I told you that.
Lame.
So, the Atari VCS IndieGoGo campaign has gone live.
Yeah.
Are you guys aware of this project?
Yeah. This is why other countries hate us.
I am now.
So I'm glad I put this on there. I've been relatively paying attention to it, and then when it went live, I was like, okay, whatever. I'll look at it like, I don't know, in a month from now. But it blew up on social media. It blew up on YouTube. It blew up on there was a big Forbes article on it. Just crazy, and I'm like, what is happening here? So I clicked on just a random YouTuber. He was talking about it, and he was super confused on, apparently the Atari VCS IndieGoGo was doing super well, and I'm like, no way this is true. So for the sake of the live stream here, I'm going to pull up the IndieGoGo page, And for Colin and Kevin here, I suggest you just Google IndieGoGo Atari VCS.
I am not putting that on my search browser.
So, at the time of recording right now, when I made the agenda, it was at $2.3 million. Now, only like 2 days later, it's at $2.5 million.
We're not a species meant to last.
This is insane. It had a flex goal of only $100,000. It has over 9,600 backers. I was about to say 1,000. 9,600 backers. This sucker has. And all it is, essentially, is a
really
digital Linux Steam machine.
Yeah, a bad one.
that
But
has...
you can play all those Atari games.
Oh yeah. So let me, before we start spouting our opinions on it, let me just go over the some of the specs and what's going on here. The console itself is $300 US. While as a backer, you can get the base model for $200. The $300 model has like the wood graining on the front and whatnot. So I mean, last time I checked, wood graining isn't $100 more, but that's just me.
That's where you're fucking wrong.
You can get an Atari Classic joystick for $30 and an Atari Modern controller for $50. They're sold separately. They don't come with a $200 console.
Question: does that Atari Classic controller use the 9-pin adapter, or is it like some USB?
It looks like it's Bluetooth only, so it's like a
Okay.
PS4 controller.
Never mind. I had a snarky comment, but that I can't make it.
I assume it's Bluetooth because Bluetooth controllers will work with this thing. So if you have a PS4 controller or even a PS3 controller, it should work with the Atari VCS, based on what I
Every
read here.
button is just the action button.
Now the system itself comes with the Atari Vault Collection, which is a collection of 100 Atari 2600 games. Bear in mind, this is also available on Steam for $10.
Or PS4, I think, too.
Probably. And it comes with Tempest 4000. Now, Tempest 4000 also releases worldwide this summer for $30.
Why
Bear
the
in
hell is
mind-
Tempest always on the weirdest, stupidest system?
Yeah, it was on the Atari Jaguar, I believe,
Why
as well.
can't they just put it on in like the Nuon or whatever? Like, why can't they just put it on a system that's like good?
Well, Tempest 4000 is coming out worldwide this summer for $30. Like on PS4 and I believe Xbox One and everything.
Oh,
So
God, they finally got their shit together.
But this is so weird. This is going to be another packing game, digital only, on this Atari VCS that's supposedly expected shipping is summer 2019. I don't think this well, okay, before I go into opinions. It's a Linux-based system with open software, Bluetooth connections, and etc., Netflix and what have you, all that stuff. So everything. 4 gigs of RAM, 32 gigabytes of memory, and then a bunch of other specs that aren't worth mentioning, truly, because there is no current working prototype.
Nice.
Because it's IndieGoGo, that is not a requirement. On Kickstarter, you have to have a working prototype for devices, but not on IndieGoGo. So I took a little excerpt from a Forbes article, mixed it up with a Polygon article, and added my own wording. So
That's how you write an English paper.
that is how you write an English paper. The bottom line is that this console is still in the development stage. They have yet to be manufactured, so there's nothing to test, hence the not working prototype. There's also no inventory to speak of, but that hasn't stopped the French-owned media company, that's who owns Atari now, from enticing political customers with lines such as a lot of catchphrases that they like doing. Hurry while supplies last, etc., etc. On its pre-order page. There's also no mention of these being sold in limited quantities, only that the pre-orders are available for a limited time.
This smells a lot like Coleco Chameleon.
Oh, we'll get there. I'm glad you bring that up. There's also
how has this not been noticed by any other tabloids yet?
There's also a conspicuous asterisk one that has yet to be questioned by backers on the IndieGoGo page. It calls out an Atari subscription service that will be required, in quotes, required for advanced services and cloud storage. So much like Switch Online, I imagine. The design of the consoles and controllers seem cool. I will admit that. And then I bear the question, why is this worth getting at all? And then, as you said, Kevin, this tells me exactly what the Coleco Chameleon did. The Ouya went through on the Kickstarter, and even the Ouya was a cheaper line of entry.
I like the Ouya.
I liked its Android ambition.
Yeah, I thought that thing was cool, but it was like, oh, these are mobile.
It's my super awesome emulation device. I'll admit it.
That's stupid. You can use a computer for that.
Yeah, but I can hook up all my controllers like super easy with it. There's some cool. There was a few good games that came out on the Ouya itself for really cheap. But that we're not here to talk about my ridiculous dumb love for the Ouya.
Look, you love the 3DO, so you know what?
I also love the 3DO. I will admit it. I think, Colin, you were there when I bought the 3DO for like $70.
Yes.
Why didn't you stop him?
100.
Oh yeah, it was 100, but I got the controllers and whatnot for free and everything, so came with it. So Kevin, you brought up the Coleco Chameleon when that came up, which originally started by the name of the Retro VGS.
Great name, by the way.
Retro Video Game System.
Awesome.
Used cartridges and whatnot, model based after old Atari Jaguar shells. I forget the name of the dude who did it, but he was super shady, didn't have a working prototype, went to IndieGoGo, nothing came of it. There was also a big stink at, there was some electronic expo he went to, where apparently it was just a duct-taped Atari Jaguar shell with a SNES motherboard inside.
Perfect. Stayed up till 3 a.m. making this baby.
Oh yeah. It was quite something. So then when I started hearing about the Atari VCS, and the VCS does stand for something, Video Computer System, which was the original name for the Atari before 2600 happened, and the Atari was named after I think it was the serial number or something. So that's where the VCS comes from.
My computer just fucking started skipping on Audacity. I got scared for a second. Ooh, okay. We're good, sorry.
So what are your guys' thoughts on this? I just spouted all of the information here. What do you guys got to say?
This thing's dumb. There's this one YouTuber I watch, and I like him, respect him, but his name's Retro Rob, and he is like, he put up some video about like why the media was wrong about Atari VCS, and like started spouting off like, you forget that Gen X gamers exist, and we want it, and we remember this thing. I'm like, dude, that's cool, but like, a lot of people don't give a shit that are your age that play video games anymore, and they sell Atari collections literally on like every system. So like, there's no real reason to own this. Looking for like an Atari system, you know? Like, why do I need to buy this? I had like the PS2 collection of like Activision and Atari. I think it has games. So like, why the fuck do I need to buy a $300 box for that? I don't know. I just don't get why this thing needs to exist.
The no working prototype thing just screams shady to me personally.
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Especially when it's, let's face it, a year, like 12 months out of their expected shipping.
It's also just the Coleco Chameleon, so
it's almost exactly like that with okay, so I'm gonna pull up the
While you do that, I got one theory. The Coleco thing and the Atari, same generation of consoles. I'm just saying, that's another sign right there. You know?
Oh yeah, so here we go. Multiple studio partners. In addition to bringing new and classic Atari titles to life, blah blah blah. It goes on. Confirmed partners include Eden, Monster, Vizio, Kung Fu Factory. I recognize a couple of these. I think it really reminds me of the same studio partners that the Retro VGS, that Coleco Chameleon, was also saying.
Interesting.
So I'm wondering if the games that these studios were making for that machine, right, are just like transferring those same games onto this. Regardless, it's still shady as fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you would even bother selling a console without a pack-in controller. But I guess if you say all Bluetooth controllers can work and you assume everyone has a PS4 or a PS3 even,
Look,
then
man,
why would I buy
Nintendo
your
can sell
controller
you a
then?
system without an AC adapter. These guys can do that.
Atari on.
True.
I don't really know why this needs to exist either. I mean,
yeah, this is dumb.
there's plenty of Atari clones out already, and I don't see why people would shell out $300 for this thing.
You know that isn't a Hyperkin making that like Retron 77 or whatever?
To me, I haven't
They're
really
making like
looked
an
very far into
HDMI.
it.
Yeah, they're making like an HDMI 2600. So again, you don't need this thing. There's literally no reason for this to exist.
It's almost like okay, it's a mixture of nostalgia, first and foremost, for a lot of people. Retro game collectors are eating this thing alive because it's Atari. It has that name on it.
I've seen nobody I know that's into retro gaming excited about it.
Hey, apparently people are. I don't know. I personally don't know anybody, but they exist. Otherwise, they wouldn't have $2.5 million already. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the other fucking deal about that. $2.5 million is not enough to make a worldwide distribution system for these fucking systems. Like, it's not that cheap. I mean, I'm no market analyst, but like, I feel like you need more than 2.5 million system that you really want to put into the mainstream.
Well, it's not like they're making games for it.
Good point.
You don't need a Linux. A Linux is freaking bare bones and easy to program, for damn sure.
Right.
Like I had to do Linux shit in college for seismology, and that's just putting circles and lines on a graph. That's
where
nothing.
are they getting the wood?
Wood's expensive, man. Don't you know cardboard is worth $80 now?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel that's why I think you need more than $2.5 million. You need wood.
I don't get
I
it.
see this thing coming with like what's that? Like pressure board. Like it's not even wood. It's like that shit you find from like a Staples desk you buy.
It's not even actual. It's like linoleum underneath, and it peels off over time when your apartment gets a little humid in the summer.
They have all the same wood grain like pattern. That's what that fucking wood's gonna be that you bastards wanted so bad. And I think that was their selling point. It's got wood.
I've got some wood right here.
As you say, I got wood every
I
morning.
was waiting for somebody to say that.
A classic reimagined, you might say.
I see what you did there. I was trying not to go that low blow, but
oh man,
it's fucking dumb.
I don't see how this thing is even worth more than $100. Because the Ouya was more ambitious than this, and that was only $100. And then, like, when it was released, it became like $75. And that came with a controller, a shitty one. I have to add, but a controller nonetheless.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least they tried. I hate that controller. Oh, it was so fucking awful to feel.
Like, okay, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say that the Atari VCS is everything we want, right?
Yeah.
It comes out.
What do I want?
Humor me.
Okay.
We're playing devil's advocate.
No.
It becomes the game machine like never before. Atari is coming back to life. Okay. In the next year, let's say it's not just Tempest 2000 and this slew of old Atari games. Let's say a Shovel Knight type game gets released on it. Oh, cool.
do like Shovel Knight.
Yeah, we Bloodstained Curse of the Moon and whatnot, like all those types of games are now available upon release for post-purchase or whatever. Cool. Okay, now we got more games we want to play on it. We already own them all already. But the imagination's there, like the possibility. Okay. I'm with you so far, says hypothetical JD.
Nice.
Right?
Hypothetical.
Yeah. Companies start getting behind it and they start making games for it. Okay, cool. So what's Atari then going to do as their next step to draw us in? Because it releases, it has successful IndieGoGo, it does release summer 19, contrary to what we all think. It happened. Ooh, my god. Summer 2019's here. The Atari's out. It's sold like crazy. Can't find it anywhere. Why? What would it take? What would it take for you, Colin, and myself to buy this? Like, what would it have to do to convince you to get it?
I don't know. I mean, exclusives that are good.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's really the number one thing.
Because that's what's hurting Xbox One right now, and that's top of the line shit. The Atari VCS isn't top shit. It's advertising itself with crazy buzzwords and propaganda that it's going to be this stream machine.
Ew.
But you know, even if everything they're saying is true. So Kevin, you say exclusives is what it would take.
But good ones. Like the things I don't even know what they'd be. Like
your imagination can't even fathom it, right?
No, because like the last time they tried to like redo it, like I guess it's not really an Atari brand, but like remember when they tried to reboot Space Invaders on GameCube?
No, I don't.
I forget what the game's called, but literally it's you in an alleyway shooting up at aliens back and forth. And like that's the whole game, and there were like 20 levels of that, and then like if you died you just got back up. And I was like, okay, well, this doesn't work anymore nowadays. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't even know what they would. They bring back Atari cards. That's what.
Maybe.
I mean, to me, maybe they look at maybe Atari pulls up a bunch of data to see that, oh, I don't know, like Missile Command or Pitfall, like a lot of these properties that they have, people are playing the shit out of them, and they start making sequels for them. They reimagine them. They don't make them these crazy 3D rendered games. It becomes this kind of 2D Shovel Knight Curse of the Moon type sequels to a lot of these games. That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe, but like remember like Pitfall Mind Adventure? That was okay. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
They need to bring back that treasure contest from back in the 80s.
Yeah. That's what make me buy them. I'll play the shit
You get the high score on our Linux Atari machine. Just Bluetooth it tweet it. Bluetooth it to me. Bluetooth it to me through an Amazon Echo and
send it to me via electronic mail.
Tweet out your high score and you get a real life physical sword that you can stab yourself in the heart because you just wasted $200 on a Super Atari machine.
You mean experience?
Goblet with actual jewels in it. That's appealing.
And if you drink out of it, it self poisons you too. I don't know. My imagination could take this a number of ways. It's just a hard sell. I just don't get it. Is nostalgia really that strong for Atari?
Honestly, maybe if it came out 10 years ago, maybe. Now, no.
What do you think, Colin?
I think some people do have nostalgia for it. I mean, I remember Angry Video Game Nerd kind of touching on it in his Atari 5200 video where he's talking about how classic the Atari 2600 was, and Just
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a lot of people, including him, have fond memories of it. But I really don't see shelling out $300 for something like this.
Yeah, it's still pretty. It's just a steep entry. It's
Absolutely.
yeah. I just don't get the number. Well, like you said, Kevin. Like, is 2.5 million enough?
No, it's the same deal with Shenmue. It's all a scam. It is. Accept it.
Well, the thing about Shenmue is they already had a bunch of backing by Sony.
Exactly, it was a scam.
Like that was they just
games already.
Yeah, it was already yeah. I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing more to say over the Atari VCS. It's just super fascinating to me about what's happening right now. Because shortly after this,
then we should transition perfectly to the next fucking Generation 2 video game bullshit on the agenda.
Yeah, because right after this went live, Intellivision, of all companies, remember them?
No, I wasn't born.
They had a small little private conference about confirming that Intellivision is going to have a new console coming. Not a SNES Mini or anything, or a NES Mini, or what Sega's coming out with. A new console for Intellivision. And there's going to be more news at E3 with this Intellivision news to bring about buzz. And then on October 1st of this year, 2018, on their Facebook page, they're going to reveal more.
Background information for that.
Okay.
Do you know who Tommy Tallarico is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
A well-known video game composer, but more importantly, he's the guy in charge of Video Games Live. Basically, he purchased the Intellivision company, and I think it was his decision to make. So I figure he's
the hero we all need.
He's going for it. He's going for ambition. His project. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know. I mean,
look, man. Whatever.
Could you imagine? Just imagine the Intellivision coming out in like 2019, 2020 with that freaking phone dial controller.
I'll do you one better. Imagine the Atari VCS coming out in 2020. It's gonna be fucking sweet, man.
We get Atari competing with Intellivision again, and Xbox is now, they've given up the console war. in comes Atari versus Sony.
Plot twist: Game Pass is just gonna start including Atari games.
The Microsoft Store is overrun with Intellivision dialed number games. The video game market crashes again in 2024.
Yo, wait, what if the VCS launches with ET?
A reimagined working ET game that you can actually know how to play.
Third-person shooter now. ET Battle Royale.
Oh, I'm dying. ET Battle Royale, and you're just this alien killing everybody on a bike.
I want those graphics and gameplay. It's Battle Royale. It's gonna be fucking sweet, man.
Oh,
you remember
my God.
What was that thing? The voice synthesis module for the Intellivision?
Oh yeah,
if come with this shit.
Yeah, the little side docket, or was that? No, I'm thinking of
Nope.
the ColecoVision.
Wasted opportunity.
Oh man,
Heard of it.
that's what the oh yeah, that was one little thing the Atari was advertising on its little IndieGoGo was it has like a lot of voice activation. I'm like, that's a pretty high level piece of technology. That's
Yeah, we all love the Kinect. Atari on.
Yeah, because my Amazon Echo has so many features that can actually understand what I'm saying half the time.
You know, Amazon's always listening, man. They knew
Always.
you wanted the Intellivision.
Always.
They're like, Alexa, why isn't the Intellivision coming back? I miss my childhood.
All right, guys. What do you say we put this to bed? Unless you got other things to say.
Got nothing.
Okay.
I'm really upset that this raised $2 million.
You're upset with people.
They wonder why the economy's in shambles.
All right, well, let's get on to our main theme. What do you say, guys?
Da, 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 da. Up your drop. Don't you play a drop that I can't hear. You did, didn't you?
I sure did. Yeah. A little commercial played before that, too.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Is it the Sons of Shinsuke Nakamura's theme?
No, it was just Final Fantasy Victory
Fucking
Fair.
best theme song in WWE right now.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I gotta get you on a wrestling cast tier episode sometime this year, Kevin, for sure.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, my favorite guy is Diesel, and you're like, Kevin's not allowed on this. Actually, mine's Triple H, but still.
Curiosity, JD, do you happen to have the Chrono Cross victory theme in your drop list?
Yes.
I do not, actually.
Chrono Trigger?
No, I don't have anything Chrono.
This drop thing seems like a waste of money.
All right, Kevin. What is this theme you chose?
I chose a really obscure, but not, well, it's not really obscure, I guess. But I chose the theme of games with the same name, but are completely different games.
And how does that work exactly?
Well, we should start with the first game. It's Dick Tracy for the NES, and also Dick Tracy for the Genesis. I see that you wrote the Master System. Stop that. Nobody had one. So essentially, the NES game is a really bad, I almost want to say like not a point and click. Would you call it a point and click? It's an adventure game. A lot of like go
It sure
here,
tries to be.
Yeah, go here, get clues, try to arrest the right guy. It's not good.
Supposed to be a detective game.
Yeah, it tried to be like the first open world. I would call it tried to be open world, right? You think?
I don't know about that one.
All right, a very moderately open world.
It tried to be adventurous. That's for sure.
Yeah. When your car drives on the street, it like forces you on the right side of the road. There's a bunch of snipers trying to kill you. Essentially, the game is against you at all points. Like, I don't think the game ever gives you a break. I mean, JD, you got far in it. I remember you telling us about it. I pretty much quit after 5 minutes. I was like, got it. No more of this.
Yeah. I mean, I gave there was only one game on this list that I pretty much lost my mind with and just said, fuck it. It wasn't this one. Surprisingly enough. But yeah, I mean, I sure as shit tried. I looked up like speedruns of this game, and they were even having a tough time.
Who speedruns Dick Tracy for the NES?
Dude, people speedrun everything.
Fucking go see a pair of tits. Jeez.
Like, I love watching World of Long Plays. I have, just for the sake of the live stream, I always like putting up World of Long Plays videos.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dude is just like a master gamer.
Is it one guy?
I don't know who it is exactly.
I thought it was just like submitted. Like
it might be submitted, but whoever it is a master Dick Tracy player.
Fair.
So
he's a master Dick.
Yeah, this game came out in 1990, developed by Real Time Associates. Actually, it was not based on the movie. It was loosely based on the comic strip, which I found interesting. Made sense why there was like nothing movie related in it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The objective is to solve several mysteries without accusing the wrong person or shooting too many unarmed villains. Which I don't know why that's even a thing in the game, but I guess because you're
been to 2018. Aha, politics anyway.
Yeah. But I guess because you're Dick Tracy, it's trying to stick with the type of character it is, but it sure as shit doesn't work for a video game, that's for sure. Right. You don't really know. You have to like memorize the characters on screen, who has a weapon and who doesn't. But you don't have time to even think about that. The game doesn't let you. So the game loop here is it's an ambitious idea. You get it. You open the game. You get a case, right? It says like your first clue is to go to this address. So then you're on that map that you spoke of, Kevin, where you're in your car. It makes you stick to the right side of the road because rules.
Yeah, logic.
Yeah. Use the vehicle to travel, and you have to avoid roof snipers that easily kill you. And as I found out, two things end up happening. If you stick in the car, you're too big a target, and the snipers will easily kill you because your car health the health is made by stars. It's not a bar. You have like 4 stars, and your car has a health, and it's actually also tied to your human health, your Dick Tracy health.
Is my real car health? Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was stupid. So you have to actually memorize where the roof snipers are, get out of the car, become a smaller target, and then shoot the snipers. But the aiming controls are really shitty, so you just kind of fumble around until you actually... It reminded me of kind of a shoot 'em up, where you're more or less paying attention of the bullets coming at your character, and you're loosely, like, corner of your eye looking at where the target is. So you eventually get to the address that it gives you. It only gives it to you once, so you gotta, like, write it down. Because it's easy to forget. You go inside, and that's when it becomes a side-scrolling action game. And when you get in that building, you go left to right until you find the clue that you need. That'll get you to the next location, in which then you gotta go in your car again and rinse repeat that until you have all the clues to arrest the right guy. There's 1 life, no continues. Brutal. There is a password feature, and this was the only way I was able to continue in the game at all.
That's where you made your first mistake. Don't continue.
So I would play the game to the point where I got the first clue, and then I'd if I die, I just look up online the password feature to continue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very convoluted control scheme to use any sort of items in the game. I was asking myself, are there health packs? I don't know what any of these things I'm picking up are. Could not figure out how to actually use the item at all. What you have to do is you have to hold the select button down. I think it was the select button. And then you press B to use the item that comes up next, because the select button will switch between the items on the main screen. Very, very odd and irritating. I had to look it up because I didn't know how to use it. It's like you can't just like press B or anything or press start and use it. Very, very terrible. I see what they were going for with the game, absolutely, but it was just very poorly executed in so many ways. The worst part of the game is definitely the roof snipers and your 1 life and 1 continue. It was just bullshit most of the time.
It's a bad game.
It really is. I really hate this game. I completely agree with everything the angry video game nerd said about it.
Oh yeah?
Because
what were some of the things he was saying? Do they match your opinion or what?
Do they ever? It's like you said, when you're in the car and it gets hit by snipers, or if you crash into other cars, you end up losing health.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Is Dick Tracy's life force tied directly to his car?
Yes.
What is this? Vision of Escaflowne?
Yeah, it's tied directly to the mech that you're driving in. Yeah, I can just imagine Dick Tracy like going in the car and he's hooking up like his heart to start the car, and and he puts on some type of 80s contraption over his head, like a nerve gear, so if the car gets hit, it actually affects his body as well.
Seems like a really great way to handle the problem, actually.
And the driving itself is really bad in this game. There's very little freedom of movement. You can only go in the 4 different directions that the streets go.
Right.
Which means it's really hard to avoid. Makes it extra hard to avoid bullets from the snipers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you don't crash or bump into walls, but again, snipers. And you have the option to shoot with the car, but it serves literally no purpose whatsoever. And navigating the city itself is a huge pain in the ass. Buildings are what, unless you're lucky enough to stumble upon the actual text showing the building at certain intersections. And even then, just entering can be a challenge because it's hard to tell where the doors are. And when you're trying to enter it, you don't actually enter the building until you take your thumb off the D-pad.
Yeah.
JD, you're a Dick Tracy pad. Ha!
I see what you did there. That's a callback. So
No, wait. I got one more thing to say. I just want to say this. Finding your way around in this game is worse than in Shadowrun. Oh yeah, I fucking went there.
Well, Shadowrun's a good game, so.
kinda. No, I had to actually print out an overview map of the city you got to drive in, just so I would know where to go in the shortest path, just to avoid the roof snipers.
That seems excessive.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely played this a lot longer than I certainly should have. Like, it's so weird. Like, I didn't totally hate the game, but there's so many things that just piss you off about it that, you know, just improve a little bit of the driving mechanics. You know, don't tie the car health to Dick Tracy's health. Don't, you know, definitely have continues after you find a clue. Like, just, like, 3 or 4 things for quality of life improvements would just be such an improvement on the game to make it just playable and interesting.
You see how you're using logic and reasoning? Stop that. It's not allowed here.
Like, I could totally see somebody, like, busting into the ROM cart, fixing up these few things themselves, and then, boom, you got a much better game, a playable game, and you got a fucking Dick Tracy game that's like an adventure.
Yeah.
Because I really like the idea of just going to get the clue, get the bad guy, you know, then maybe at the end of the game you have sex with Marilyn Monroe on your desk.
Hold on a second. Let's explore this idea. I'm into whatever you said.
You know, there's a cutscene after every one. It's like, Dick, come on now, big boy. All right.
Oh boy.
Is that enough about Dick Tracy on the NES?
Yeah, but the Genesis version's fucking lit.
Yeah. So tell us about the Genesis version. Why
Genesis
don't you, Kevin?
version is an arcadey side-scroller shoot 'em up, fuck you up game. I'm right here.
Okay. Go on.
You guys can. Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me. Sorry.
Hey, but then everybody talked over me, so.
Well, fuck you. Go ahead, Colin.
Going to admit that the NES version does look pretty good. It has a very distinct visual style, a lot like the comic itself. And on a side note, I don't know if you guys have actually read the comic, but as a kid, I actually did read one issue that my brother picked up once. I thought it was cool at the time, but not enough to make me go out and buy them wholesale. But then again, I didn't have a very big allowance growing up.
Oh, sure.
Comparison, I noticed in the AVGN video, Angry Video Game Nerd, when he punched the goons, they went sliding and bouncing all over the screen, and yet when I played it, they just fell over and disappeared. What's going on? Confirmed.
Video editing confirmed.
Maybe you were playing a bad emulation version or something.
A shitty Canadian version, I said it.
It was the Canadian release. I don't know.
Oh, well, I'm done on the NES if you want to move on to Genesis.
Yeah. So, Kevin, you said the Genesis version was good.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Confirmed.
Yeah, Sega made a completely different game, didn't they?
It's so fucking cool. The first level is awesome. You're just going, you're shooting all the bad guys that walk really slowly at you, even though you have a gun. Just killing all the gangsters in the way. And then there's some enemies that pop up in the background. You're like, oh, fuck, how do I do this? You hit the C button, and then Dick Tracy whips out a Tommy gun from somewhere. And just you can kill everything in the background. So you really got to watch like 2
I know where he
layers of
pulls
the
it out
screen.
from.
Listen, I know what you do off camera. We went over this.
It's his butt.
Thank you. Yes. Are you fucking 4?
So you agree with me?
I didn't say I disagreed.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
Dick Tracy on the Genesis is way.
Dude.
Yeah.
What you guys think about it?
Oh, it's super addicting for sure. I was quite excited that. So I first played the Genesis version. I was like, "Holy crap! This looks like a Genesis game. It feels like a Genesis game." It I wasn't too into the music at all. It was very unmemorable. I don't know what it was. I guess they just.
Cool.
I didn't care for it personally. There was a couple levels. I want to say it was like stage 3 or something that the music changed, but the first two just didn't do anything for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention how the second level, for no reason, all decides to go, "You have no bullets," and then you have to like punch people.
Yeah. The
I did not
train
like that part.
the train yard, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess that was all the fun taken away.
Yeah, 1-B. Yeah.
Get past that stage.
It's still a good game. It was just like that one level. Fuck you.
Yeah,
No
I got about halfway through. And I didn't feel like using save states because I was legit obsessed with the game. It has a very addicting game loop, just on the fact that it's go left or right, kill some dudes with a Tommy gun, use the pistol so the Tommy guns use the Tommy gun for the guys in the background, and use the pistol the guys in the foreground. If they get close enough, then you can just punch or kick them.
Why wouldn't you just use the Tommy gun all the time?
Yeah, kind of weird, right? Why wouldn't you just mow everyone down all the time? I thought the game was a little easy at the beginning, but that's most kind of arcade type games in the first place. Yeah, because about halfway through the game, that's when I got to that point where, okay, this is where I'm supposed to give the game all my quarters and keep playing, and that's how I'd get by. So that's when I switched to the Master System version just to try it out, because I have a lot of love for the Master System. I love the look and feel of it. It's just the time. Yeah, well, unfortunately, the Master System version of this game, it suffers from like a lot of inconsistent flash animation and bad hitboxes.
Nobody played it.
It was very odd. Like, it seems Sega. It suffered from the same exact thing that like Alter Beast and Golden Axe, the Genesis ports that went to the Master System, as when those went there. It was the same problems. I was like, oh my god, if they just didn't try to put they definitely overloaded the Master System with graphically and how much action they wanted to put on the screen. It's just not, the system just wasn't capable of handling the game. Very unfortunate, because if I let's say hypothetically that the flash and the hitboxes actually worked properly, then the game would be it would have been a smash hit on the console for sure.
Those cross-generation releases, even back then.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. But yeah, I loved how the game looked. It felt just smooth, little cheap in the later parts. I thought the in-between little shoot the bad guy segments in the target range, I thought that was pretty fun. Know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah, I found myself always shooting the police officers by accident. Well, because they would have the bad guys wearing blue suits all the time, and then all of a sudden they'd throw up blue suit policemen. I'm like, God damn it! Why do the police gotta look the same as the bad guys?
Well, this is getting real close to real life issues.
This game also apparently doesn't end with having sex with Marilyn Monroe, so we need a modern day Dick Tracy game where that happens. Make it happen.
Does that actually happen in Dick Tracy? Why do we keep referencing this?
Have you never seen the movie?
Not once.
I've not.
Dude, she's crawling all over his desk, hands
and
and knees, like actual Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. How old is this movie?
God.
1990.
Is Marilyn Monroe, wasn't she like dead in the 60s?
Yeah, I'm thinking of the way older one, Colin.
I definitely didn't see that one then.
Oh yeah, that's the one where it's famous for like Dick Tracy's behind the desk and he's
Getting jerked by Marilyn Monroe.
oh, of course, right? No, he's he's like self monologuing himself. It's all black and white, and it's like in walked this one dame. She was wearing lipstick and oh no, what's the line? I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to improv it as well.
I hit her with a nice hello, my lady.
It's something like she walked in on a plane, and that was a ride I was gonna like be on at 8 o'clock or some shit, like some
Max Payne.
Well, Max Payne's based off of like a Dick Tracy comic book and movie.
Max Payne is based off painkiller addiction.
Well, that part is, yeah.
Does Dick Tracy do painkillers?
Or
do bullet time? I don't think so.
Got two best friends at my desk. One's a gun and I keep it loaded. The other's a bottle and keeps me loaded.
Yeah, you were much better at that than I was. I was just
like
all
a Max Payne quote.
there.
Yeah.
That also sounds like a Max Payne quote.
What'd you guys think of the driving level? Where it's like the 1930 cars and Dick Tracy's like hanging out on outside the car shooting guys.
That was cool.
That's clearly what the NES version wanted to do.
I don't think it did. I think the NES version was just like some guy was like, I don't want to make this fucking game anymore. I even programmed snipers to fucking end it all.
It's pretty cool because when you shoot guys like hanging out the window of the cars, they kind of like go limp halfway out the window. It's pretty cool. Then they disappear.
As they do in real life.
Yeah, as one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much things bad to say about this Mega Drive Genesis Dick Tracy rendition.
Genesis version was better.
I do kind of wish the stages would kind of change it up a bit, because after you play like a couple levels, you're kind of like, all right, I do get it. This is all we're gonna get.
It's a good game though.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Very arcadey, very fun.
I have to disagree with you guys. It's not
Fuck
that
you.
great. I mean, it's better than the NES version, but I still didn't enjoy it very much.
What didn't you like about it in particular?
Cocktail throwers. They can fuck right off.
Oh, you gotta duck, man.
The reason I couldn't get past level 1B.
Did you try yelling "Stop resisting" as you shot people?
It still didn't help.
That's your problem. You gotta yell "Stop resisting."
I didn't like this one.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
That's a shame. Well, at least
Yeah.
Kevin and I liked it. Kevin, I think this is the first like pick in a while that I've actually liked the game that you picked.
How? Because you always pick the 3D. I'm introducing you to.
No, you never pick 3DO games. That's why I don't like it.
You always pick 3DO games.
Well,
I gotta tell you what good games are.
Hey, Road Rash was a good game. You shut up.
Yeah, on the PlayStation 1.
3DO's better.
On the PlayStation 1.
All right. Well, shall we move on to the next game, which is
Definitely.
one of Colin's picks.
Yes. Ghostbusters for the NES compared with Ghostbusters for the Genesis.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy.
And the NES game, for those who
It's
have
okay.
been following the angry video game nerd since his beginning, it's exactly as bad as he says. Maybe worse.
Oh, come on now. Game's okay.
what it's trying to be as a game. I mean, some of it's driving, but you don't really do much while driving aside from maybe suck up ghosts and avoid other cars.
Hit gas cans.
And then when you run out of gas, you have to watch two of the guys actually push the car.
Which doesn't seem that bad. It's all right.
Why even have to get gas to begin with?
Because they didn't want you to beat it in a weekend from Blockbuster.
I don't know how you're defending this game at all, Kevin.
I'm not. I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a bad
Catching
game.
sequences themselves are not very interesting. You lay down the trap, activate the proton packs, and wait for the ghosts to get caught in them. Then move over the trap and hit A to make the trap pull them in. It's even more boring than it sounds.
So, Colin, get a load of this. Developed by Works, capital
Yes.
W Works, aka later Bits Laboratories, published by Activision of all companies. Here's a little tidbit for you. The designer David Crane made this game in 6 weeks.
Holy fuck, David Crane made this?
Oh.
Like the guy that made Pitfall?
I don't know if it was the same guy.
There's only one David Crane that I know of. And this guy resorted to this, man. He must have been
So
going down that path.
this Ghostbusters game originally started as a game called Car Wars. Hence why in the Master System version and the non-NES versions, you got the choice between 4 cars at the start and not the Ghostbuster car.
Did you say Car Wars?
Car Wars, yeah.
That sounds like the worst Star Wars ripoff ever.
Yeah. Just it's just a bunch of armed cars in a city, hence why the first screen is just the car driving around this busted ass looking city grid. Or board, better put. So it was an incomplete game, and he's just like, alright, let's put the Ghostbusters thing. I can't confirm it, but apparently there was a blurb in a magazine when this game came out that he hadn't even seen the movie when he was making the game.
Perfect, sounds about right.
Until he was done with it, like at the end of the 6 weeks, he watched the movie and then he like added some shit in.
Huh.
Hence why that is why there's things like the Zool building, Zuul, and not like the Gozer building. That's why there was weird ass like spelling errors on the characters and whatnot.
Okay, then explain congratulations.
Well, that was just a bad like Japanese direct translation that a lot of games at the time suffered from. So
you have proved the justice of our culture,
which also makes no sense.
So this was the game that actually the NES version of this game was actually the one that drove me insane. This was the one. And the number one thing that first got me to start losing my damn mind was the song. I like the Ghostbusters theme, but it was on like a goddamn 10-second loop, and that's all you heard the entire fucking time.
That's just ridiculous.
Best game ever, 10 out of 10.
So I wrote down the game loop in this one because it's horrible. Capital H-O-rable. First,
best game.
Buy your ghostbusting equipment.
Yeah, where do you think they got it in the movie?
You gotta go buy it at the Ghostbuster store, apparently.
Yeah.
B button shows a box. B button shows a box on the screen with where you can hold a max of 5 items for reasons. Before you buy your items, it'll just show up as like this plain white box, and you're just like, why the fuck is that there?
Yes, the box button, my favorite.
Yeah, the box button. The B button, that's what it stands for in this game.
I knew it.
Okay, so first, buy your Ghostbusting equipment. Second, go to the building flashing red after you kind of drive around for a while when you get next to it. Third, car action scene avoiding obstacles, as you said, Colin. Every hit takes away money. You also need money to buy gas. And you'll have to like spend the money to fix your car and shit. So that's a thing. So hence, that's something left over from Car Wars. For sure. So even though you drove to the building that was flashing red, you have to go through a sequence of driving to it in action. So whatever. Fourth, catch ghosts if in reach, but don't cross beams, you will die immediately. Because that was the thing for the movie. He added that later.
Oh, good. What an essential feature.
Right? Fifth, empty traps to get money. Make sure you buy bigger traps so you can get more ghosts to get more money. Rinse repeat this loop until you have what you need to even get to the final building. That main building. Takes fucking forever.
Game's great. 10 out of 10.
So,
tell me when this game starts being bad.
Well, it's just fucking boring. That's the bad part. That loop is just monotonous garbage.
Or the best game of all time.
So, now you go to the main building. This is where it just gets super frustrating. Because, I'll be honest, once I discovered this loop, I immediately popped in an emulator and went, no.
Nice.
I went, no more. I'm going to see the rest of this game, and that's it. So, you have to do all this before a bunch of ghosts enter the middle building. Otherwise, Stay Puft shows up and starts crushing shit all around, and that's kind of like its version of a game over, but not really.
As in the movie, Stay Puft comes there. Yep.
Oh, of course, right? So, final your last mission before you get to the final boss. I never got there, by the way.
I think any of us did.
You ascend the impossible stairs without dying.
Yeah.
Apparently, I only made it up 8 flights, and I went, fuck this shit. Apparently, there's over 25 levels of stairs you have to go up, because one of the things is you have to keep tapping the fucking button on the controller to move the characters, and there's no way to control them. They don't move in 3 directions, it's only 2D, and the ghosts will kill your ass super easily, and they all run together like they're Ninja Turtles.
Well, listen, nerd, maybe if you
annoying.
bought a turbo controller, you wouldn't have this issue.
I don't have a turbo controller, so it was impossible.
Pro controller, it's impossible.
Audacity.
Why not just have them move with the D-pad like we've been doing literally the entire game up to this point?
My Audacity
Pretty
keeps
hard.
cutting out. Holy shit, I'm getting scared.
Yeah, I raged pretty hard at a lot of these games this time.
So then, popped in the Master System version.
Way better.
Emulator. I don't have it personally, I'll admit it. Looks way better, but it's still the shitty game loop. There's at least a variety of music in some way. I'll give it that. You can actually, in that annoying stair scene, you can actually shoot. So in the NES version, you can't use your weapon to shoot the ghosts. The Master System version you can, but it's one-hit death, and it's back to the bottom.
Sweet.
Yay.
So it's basically still impossible. So I'm like, as soon as I found out the one-hit death, I'm like, no, I'm not Dick Tracing this again. I'm done.
I had a theory for the NES version stair scene that they might have been trying to recreate how tired the characters were getting in the movie when they had to climb the stairs, but you basically toss that out the window with the origin story of this game.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Unless he was like, that's a cool thing to add in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weird thing about the Master System version was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man's blocking the entrance, and you have to just get lucky timing. You have to get 2 of the 3 Ghostbusters. Winston, the black dude, he's not in any of these games, so I don't know.
Which is fucked up.
I don't get it, personally. Well, I mean, there is the joke, nobody wants to ever be Winston, I guess.
Oh, I do. He's the best character.
Yeah, Stranger Things went into that, too.
Yeah, they even made a joke about, no, nobody wants to be Winston. You just want me to be Winston because I'm black, right? Just say it.
Yeah. No!
But yeah, you have to get 2 of the 3 Ghostbusters that you're able to be in the game past Stay Puft. But I just found it so random to get by them. Otherwise, the game starts over again. But once you get past them, if you die, you do go back to the bottom of the stairs at least. I guess there was some positivity about that.
Just say the game's bad. It's okay.
No, this game's atrocious. It was worse than Dick Tracy. Like Dick Tracy, I could see some positives. I could see some things that, you know, just a few things to improve upon. This Ghostbusters game was a disaster.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that little excerpt that the dude made it in 6 weeks, it's noticeable.
Then a better one came along.
Like there was even an Atari 2600 version of this that came out, and it's like the same thing.
No, there wasn't. We pretend it doesn't exist.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
No, it's really shitty though.
Do we all agree it's fucking terrible?
2 out of 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then a better one came.
All right, Colin.
This is Ghostbusters on the Sega Genesis.
Fuck yeah.
Much more enjoyable than the NES version.
Love this game.
It plays more like a side-scrolling platformer with guns rather than whatever the hell the NES Ghostbusters game was trying to be.
Car Wars.
It was trying to be Car Wars.
I mean, and you still get to bust ghosts in the traditional way after beating a boss, as in, like, hitting it with a proton stream and sucking it into a trap. But the rest of the time, it plays more like an actual game.
Right.
So cool. Now, I never got to... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The first mini-boss you face looks heavily like Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's, minus the eye patch.
Oh, why did you put that in my mind?
Oh, interesting. I didn't put that together.
I didn't realize it either.
I was looking at it like, this looks like something familiar.
But that's just a theory. Yeah, I'm done. Revenue.
Yeah, the kind of goofy. It kind of reminds me of the big head mode cheat from GoldenEye on the N64.
Yeah, it does. I quite like this game.
It is called the Daily Sega News.
Oddly specific news.
Oh, Sega always did that stuff in their games, though.
Oh, what's going on with Sega today? Turns out they're making this thing called X. Oh, it looks cool. Sweet. They wouldn't put that mistake in there.
The way it plays kind of reminded me of Castlevania, too. Like with how you get knocked back by the enemies, or...
Oh, yeah.
I found that super irritating on a couple stages.
Oh, it definitely is.
So, alright. Game came out in 1990, published by Sega, developed by Compile, company more famous for various shoot-'em-ups in the Puyo Puyo games. You guys are familiar with that?
I never heard of them, but okay.
It's a run and gun game in which the player takes control of the little chibi squat cartoon representations of 3 of the 4 Ghostbusters from the movie. Winston's, of course, not in it yet again.
Bullshit.
There's 4 available levels to choose from in any order. They're all houses except the high-rise building. One in particular is called the Woody House. We'll get there.
You said wood.
Yeah. Once each is completed in whatever order, the spooky mansion in the back opens up. Complete that level, and a secret 6th level will open up for the final boss fight.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't get that far.
I did not get that far either.
This game's fucking hard.
This game is atrociously hard. There's no reason for it to be this hard.
There's a reason.
It's hard on easy mode.
Yeah, the reason is it's hard.
I don't get it. I don't get why they made it so hard. I honestly don't.
I get it because it seems very arcadey. Like it's an arcade game. So I got that. It's one of those like classic retro games you're not meant to beat, which is kind of something I've just accepted recently. Is anything pre like PlayStation and 64, you're not going to beat it. Fuck you.
I don't know, there's a lot of Super Nintendo games that you are Dynamite Heady, Earthworm Jim, like those games you're able to beat. But yeah, anything that comes from an arcade game, no chance.
Yeah.
Not the normal average gamer. Like, I'm just not good enough. Like,
Yeah.
I could pull up. I've pulled up another long play of this, and even that dude's getting hit, like, all the time. Okay, so I got a few gripes about this game, and it's mostly based on that difficulty. I thought the levels were mostly bland, with a wander platform method to find the ghosts. Usually there's 2 per level, and you trap them to get money. So here's this money in effect again to buy ghost-busting weapons that you would need.
I really like that idea.
They were obsessed with the whole I have to buy the weapon type things. They
Your
also
economy's in shambles, JD. Okay.
Yeah, well, a couple of them make sense, but I don't like the way it went about it, because there's so let's like, the game doesn't really have an easy way to grind for money. The money doesn't return, so you only have one chance. So you have to learn what weapons to buy when. Along with, you can't buy multiples of the weapons or the upgrades. So for example, let's say, well, shit, I'm getting hit a lot. The enemies do a ton of damage to me. I want to get a shield. Oh, the shield only works like once on this one level. Can I buy it again? No, it doesn't let you.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. The music and sound effects I thought were really even less noticeable than, say, the Dick Tracy games. Honestly. I mean, it was cool. Like, when you go in between levels, the Ghostbuster music theme plays, and you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. It does a short little segment that repeats itself. Hello, oh, I have a ghost in my place, it's causing mischief. I'm on it. Like, I think I got the gist of what you're saying here. I'm gonna go ghostbusting. It's the Bill Murray character, he just always says it. So, I thought the catch system of the, like, once you beat the ghost, the mid-boss level, and you have to catch the ghost, I thought that function of the control was very finicky and hard to actually get the ghost to go into the trap itself. I think I was only able to catch half of what I was supposed to, because the ghost would then just run away.
I never made it work. I have no idea how to make that.
I would just stand in the middle and hopefully the ghost would come to me, and then I would activate it. It's only in this diagonal manner. You have no control over the beam. Just never really understood how it worked at all. I watched YouTube videos of seeing them do it, and they just make it look so easy. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. This game was way too hard. Good, but I just found it fun. I don't know.
Oh, it's incredibly charming.
Yeah.
I liked my initial start of it, but as I wanted to continue in the game, I found myself just going, okay, I played that level already. I want to check out the next one.
Right.
The odds of me actually beating it? No way. So I just felt like I was just playing one level at a time, and the whole objective was to just beat that one level on my 6 to 10 lives, depending on the difficulty I would have it on.
Exactly. You're not meant to win. Just remember that.
Dumb. This is why Game Genie was invented.
Yeah.
Don't say such things.
You know, that's exactly what. This is what Game Shark, all those things. So, I was able to get past the first 2 levels relatively with medium difficulty. Easy. The game has easy frustration, for sure, with me. The ghosts themselves, the boss fights, I found to be unique. The other gripe I didn't like was, let's say you have your one character low on health, right? You can't switch between the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
You basically have to let them die. Unlike the NES Ninja Turtles game, where you can actually switch between the Ninja Turtles to prevent deaths.
Which is why that game's not hard.
Well, that game is hard just on the fact that the controls are shitty and the game's relentless, etc. But anyway, this one, I think, again, just kind of like Dick Tracy was saying, some quality of life improvements. If you could switch between the Ghostbusters, that would have made the game so much more palatable, because then you wouldn't be forced to have a character die all the time. Because your lives are tied to the 3 Ghostbusters, so you can't get more than 3 lives in the game. And to my knowledge, you can't even bring them back once they do die. You guys with me on that?
I am. I just, I don't know. I like this game, so I don't want to. I thought it was
It's
fun.
the first 2 levels as well, but it took me all 10 continues to do so.
Oh, so you
I
played
don't
it
know what
on
that says
easy
about me.
easy as well, then?
I think so. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
I really hate the jumping amoeba enemies. They're hard to hit.
yeah,
They close the distance really quickly.
Oh yeah, yeah, especially on the second level and on. They respawn just all the time.
Hate that. And when you're crawling through the tight spaces, you can't turn around, which can make you lose a lot of health when you can't aim at an enemy that's behind you.
Yeah. The well, one thing I noticed like almost immediately was while you're going up and down ladders, you don't take damage. I don't know if you I there was a couple levels where especially on the Woody house, the fire level, I was abusing the ladder mechanic all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Constantly using it. I was like,
didn't
oh,
notice
here's a
that.
guy to my left over there. If I just go up the ladder and have him stay on the screen, then I can take damage from like the 3 other things coming at me, but I can get that one that always gets me. It's kind of like a Ninja Gaiden type moment where you're trying to exploit the game just to get past the next part. Yeah. The another quality of life improvement I thought really would have made this game better. I thought the hitbox of the characters were way too big for the size of the screen that was presented in front of you. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I have to agree. You just get hit way too easily.
Yeah, like the first major boss takes up about half the area, but your character then takes up 2.5, and he doesn't quite jump high enough to avoid that thing properly. You're just constantly like on the character's belly and just praying that you don't get hit by what it's doing and just get lucky basically.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah, I really didn't like the hitbox of the characters. Maybe if the characters were smaller, that would have helped. Because I think the way they were designed, if they were half that size, that could have been a major improvement to the game.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. Problem that was with Shantae on Game Boy Color. Sprite was really big.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. But the damage system and the difference was the damage system in Shantae was more forgiving. In this one, like you get hit once, that's like a fourth of your health immediately.
I do agree.
And it only gets harder when you go to the other 3 levels. Especially the high-rise building. Fuck that place. Stay Puft can suck my big fat Woody house knob.
Crazy.
Like you don't know where he's gonna punch from. It's so random, and he does like half a health worth of damage. So if you didn't use all your money on a freaking armor upgrade, you're gonna die immediately. Because then, if Stay Puft doesn't get you in the high-rise building, then the fucking jumping amoebas will. They do even more damage on that level.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Luckily, to my memory, one of the ghosts on that just kind of doesn't do anything. It just kind of hangs out and stands in a corner. So it was like a free ghost that you can get. You do have the option to go back to like the beginning of the level. Stock up on more weapons with the money you did collect to maybe continue more on in the level, but I don't know why you would even bother doing that because you'll probably die just working your way back.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to make sure you did everything right the the first time going through one of the 4 houses before even getting to the final, or the second to last little spooky mansion in the back. Very odd kind of story where each ghost has like a tablet. Reminded me of the freaking King Tut slab from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Know what I mean?
Return the slab.
Return the slab.
Fucking scariest thing I've ever seen in my childhood. It still creeps me out.
That's what that reminded me of. Each ghost has a piece of the slab. You get all slabs together, then big spooky ghosts in the mansion rises up, and all power is going to destroy the. Return the slab. No, don't bring the slab together. There's even a point in the game where I forget the Ghostbuster with the glasses. I forget his character's name. He even has a line in the game where he's like, "Gee, whenever we bring more of these tablets together, the spooky ghost energy rises up and it's getting uncontrollable. Let's find that last piece."
Get more.
Needless to say, I couldn't beat the high-rise building. I was barely able to beat the Woody house, but I wasn't able to, like, once I got through the Woody house, I didn't have enough health, didn't have enough money to even get past another stage. So I would say start with stage 3 if you're good enough, but then if you're good enough to beat stage 3, well then might as well just start with the first 2, and then you can go to the high-rise building.
So game is bad.
I think the hitbox was the most annoying thing in the game, honestly. Yeah.
I like this game. Fuck you guys.
Like it has like all the charms there. It has the potential. I just think there were too many missteps for me to truly enjoy it. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Middling for me.
Yeah, it's definitely a middle game. I wish it was better. Basically, it's just okay.
Sure.
Because I did play it long enough. I did beat 4 of the 5 levels in the game, just not in the same go.
But you did beat them.
I did beat them. No, I never beat the high-rise building. I'm sorry. I beat 3 out of the 4.
You're a fucking liar.
Yeah. I couldn't even get to Stay Puff. He was just kicking my ass in the building, punching the shit out of me like Roman Reigns.
Don't you dare compare this game to anything with his name.
Alright. Well, we're on to my picks now.
I bless the Roman Reigns down in Africa. Yeah, I said it.
So my pick, same name, different game, was Shinobi.
Ooh.
A Sega property. Only a Sega property, since you guys picked...
No, isn't Shinobi the bad guy in...
Well, you guys picked, like, movie Nintendo type stuff.
Excuse me, No, I picked the Genesis Ghostbuster, or Colin did, I mean. And I picked the Genesis Dick Tracy, so...
Well, that's like that one's based off the movie, while the first one was trying to be comic book. But anyways, yeah, I picked Shinobi, Nintendo and Master System, 1988. The NES version was made by Tengen. It was a port in 1989. It took out close range weapons, so no swords, no nunchucks, all that stuff. So Shinobi Master System's the main one. That's the arcade port, basically, in 1988. The Switch was now you have a health gauge instead of like a one-hit kill system from the arcade. Rescuing hostages are no longer mandatory from the arcade version. However, if you do rescue the hostages in the Master System version, you do get upgrades to your weapons and or restore health, because it also gives you points. When you amass a certain amount of points, that's when you can get a free health upgrade. Your default weapon is throwing stars and punching, kicking, and then upon killing more enemies in a row without getting hit or what have you, those things will or just upon completing levels, those things will upgrade to a pistol, grenade, etc. As mentioned. You also have...
Pistol?
Say again, Kevin?
Yeah, pistol?
Yeah, you get a pistol, you get a gun. Yeah, the Shinobi little universe isn't in the past. You're like a ninja in the modern world. You're Joe Musashi.
But ninjas don't use guns.
This one does.
Well, this is silly.
It's a video game.
Look, this is unrealistic. I can't.
You do have ninjutsu techniques, like Super Naruto style.
Do you know how good you have to be at martial arts? You have to have a black belt in 3 different martial arts to be allowed to train it. That's a real thing, by the way.
Wasn't there a movie where they trained in like gun martial arts?
Equilibrium.
That's the one. I love that movie.
I was thinking of Wanted, where they try to bend the curve.
Yeah, there's also that one.
Which, by the way, is impossible to do.
I don't know what you're talking about. They totally did it. So
That's how guns work.
That's how those guns work, and they're skilled.
Yeah, sure, okay.
You do have ninjutsu techniques. That's my main problem in the game. You can only get that by completing the impossible in-between bonus stage. Just like this arcade throwing bonanza. I don't know how else to describe it. It's a mess, but that's how you get your ninjutsu techniques. And you get the... I was only able to ever beat 2 arcade stages. So you have to basically save your ninjutsu techniques for the later levels, the harder ones. It's a side-scrolling platform action game. You have 5 missions to complete, and each ends with a target boss, which they show you at the beginning. Usually built up into 2 parts, where the first one is more or less a lay of the land, and then you get to the boss. So, what'd you guys think?
It was okay.
It was better than I expected, at least on the regular Nintendo. I mean, I saw you and John playing it on Musenspiel JD, and it actually kind of looked pretty stiff to me. Didn't really catch my interest, but then I actually played it I actually played both the NES and Master System versions of this game just for comparison, and it was, like I said, better than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It does look stiff, but when you actually play it, it does exactly what you want and need it to. It's just a matter of remembering which enemies do what and where.
Can we also take a moment to recognize the horrifying NES title screen?
Yeah, it is pretty wild. That's for sure.
Scary shit. Listen, JD.
Yeah, the characters.
You got to put that in the live stream.
All right, I'll pull it up while you guys keep talking about it.
That should be the thumbnail of this fucking podcast.
And yet the character sprite in the game didn't even have a face mask.
Yeah, no, they couldn't detail it enough.
Isn't that the first thing you think of when you think of a ninja?
The face?
Besides Naruto and Senran Kagura. No, face mask.
Oh, sorry.
Joe Musashi doesn't need to hide his face because anyone he meets will die.
He's got a good point there. I really thought Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden were the same universe.
No, not at all, because Shinobi's a Sega property and Ninja Gaiden's a Nintendo one.
Yeah, but I know that.
It used to be.
And like to this day, when I hear Shinobi, all I think is like, oh, bad guy.
Yeah, so there's 2 things in this game I don't like with a heavy passion. Because I love this game. There's a reason why when I first started the YouTube channel, that I made it a mission to 1 credit clear this game, which I have done before. I can't do it every time because of the 2 things I hate. Number 1, Stage 4 has a jump, in which if you're not super frame perfect, which I can never figure out what the frame is and where you need to be and how you need to move the guy, you will miss. I missed that jump 9 times out of 10.
Oh boy.
And that is how I would game over 90% of the time. Then you get to the final fucking boss, and he's such a cheap asshole that he will kill you immediately upon his third fucking form. And he has like 5 goddamn forms. It is ridiculous. I hate the final boss. He's an asshole, and I hate that fucking jump. Everything else about the game, I fucking love. It's great. It has Marilyn Monroe pictures on stage 1-2.
Yeah, I noticed.
And you can fight Spider-Man and Batman.
Yes.
Those are the best parts of this game.
The third boss fight could be better because it's a face on a wall coming out. No. That's a different. I didn't have a problem with it. The third one was a bunch of like tiki tokens, spinning and coming at you, closing in, and behind you is like a laser barrier. So if you back up too far to the left, it'll kill you, take away health. So the tiki barrels are closing in on you. So you have to be, you have to learn how to throw the shurikens, or at the very least have the pistol, to get past that boss. So it was kind of cheap, but not totally cheap. So if you didn't have an upgrade, it made it incredibly difficult, and you had to be basically frame perfect to get past it. But if you had the pistol, it was no issue at all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How far? I'm curious how far you guys got.
Level 2.
I barely got past the first boss because they're punishingly difficult. I found it's like it's fun enough. I mean, I like the super jump. Basically, you hit up and B, and then you can jump extra high and throw shurikens as you're going up and down.
Yeah, the NES version had that availability. On the Master System version, if you pressed up and 2, I guess it would be B as well. You would just go up to the next. You just go up to the top level. You wouldn't do a sort of super jump.
It's a code name.
I noticed in the NES version, when you hit pause, it's really hard to tell that it's actually paused, other than that you can't move. The music doesn't change, the screen doesn't change, and there wasn't even a pause word that appeared. It just seems weird to me.
Yeah, well, it's definitely an old game, that's for sure. Late 80s. Know what I mean?
Master System version at least put the word pause on the screen.
It did. It also stopped the music. But you also have to get up and press the console because that's where the pause button is.
That was a good idea. Remember that? Should keep doing that in games.
Yeah. I love the game. There's just 2.5 instances where it's just bullshit.
So how'd you feel about that other version?
The last game we're going to talk about?
Yeah, that was a transition.
You're very good at that.
It's a fucking segue. I'm trying to be subtle.
Oh my god, you're amazing, Kevin.
Oh,
Please have my children.
No, I'm not that kind of guy.
Alright, so this is also published by Sega, developed by Overworks, aka it's still Sega. Shinobi PS2 came out in 2002, so many years later. More or less a reboot was tried here, but it's a very different game. But yet it tried to as you play it, if you've played the original, which we did for the podcast, you notice there's a lot of things in spirit this game tried to replicate from the original Shinobi. This game was originally planned for the Dreamcast, but due to a discontinuation on the console, the game was moved to the PS2. Especially being the fact that the PS2 was more popular in Japan.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, who knows? Who knew? You play as protagonist Hotsuma, not Joe Musashi, so that was a new thing that they were doing, yeah. Through 8 levels that each consist of 2 sections and a boss battle, so just like Shinobi.
I like how they, I gotta add this right now. Jump back. That makes it sound like a very short game, but oh my god, no.
No, it's not.
No. You're gonna.
No.
The
You have to feel pain.
let's see here. It does not feature checkpoints, but the player is able to continue from the start of a boss battle if you die.
Great.
Yeah, and you do start at the beginning of a level, so you don't the game doesn't end. So there's a bit of difficulty here.
There really is.
Yeah. So in the first one that we spoke about on the Master System, you had a heavy reliance on the shurikens being thrown. That's how you would kill, I would say, 75% of the enemies on average. This one kind of does the reverse, where it focused on the hack and slash, the using your sword, and then the shurikens were more or less used as a stunning mechanism, a weapon. This game also tried to have a story as well, which is really strange.
What's wrong with
Movie
having a story?
but it's a story.
It's a story for sure. So basically, this one guy's ninja clan got wiped out or some shit, and they've been all reanimated as mind-controlled zombie people, I guess. And the deal is that Hotsuma here needs to stop these evil spirits from... Let me start over. Earthquake happened, castle goes up, ghosts come out, and then his ninja clan was killed, so he has to, every boss battle is him kind of fighting his old ninja clansmen. There's pretty sweet cinematic cutscenes, I will admit, even for the time. There's full-on voice acting and everything. I wasn't expecting that.
PS2 era, that should be standard.
You would think. Not a
Yeah,
lot of
all
games.
the games
I
have voice
expect
acting now.
too.
WWE.
The whole thing, there's a few mechanics in the game I'd like to briefly mention here. Is Hotsuma's sword has a name. It's called Akujiki.
Coochie coochie.
Yeah, Akujiki, and it feeds on souls, which also functions as kind of like a health system that's on a timer. So if you don't kill enemies quick enough for the sword to feed on their souls, it doesn't happen until the second level, then it will start taking life away from you. So that reminded me of Heavenly Sword immediately.
Wait,
Did anyone else get this?
I never played Heavenly
I
Sword.
never played Heaven.
Oh, damn. You guys need to play it.
I
It's a
just
good
thought
game.
it was female God of War. I didn't know it.
It's not female God of War. It's a good game. But anyways, so yeah, you got to kill the enemies quickly enough before the sword starts killing you. And once you unlock the sword, so to say, on level 2, you can now do Tate Attack, which will essentially up your kind of kill system to release souls and ninjutsu attacks. It's pretty cool, because when you kill 4 or more enemies in quick succession, it does a sweet little ninja, he puts the sword away, and then they all get cut in half at the same time. But it really gets old pretty quick, in my opinion. Anyone else go through this a little bit?
That was cool the first few times. And I don't think I got to the point where it started getting old just yet, but I can totally understand feeling that way after a while.
Yeah. You do have 3 ninjutsu attacks, but you don't need to freaking beat a special stage to get it. They're called the Kaien, which is a fire attack. The most useful in my opinion. Kamaitachi, which is a shockwave attack. And the Raijin, which grants him invincibility for a short period of time. Never even got the chance to use it, but I imagine it's very useful.
See,
I basically only used the fire attack.
Yeah, I played a lot of the 3DS Shinobi earlier this year, and it sounds very similar.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's same elements. I feel like he's asked that. Mistaken, actually. Almost every game, around Shinobi 3, I think that started.
Yeah.
I might be right. Somebody correct me in the live chat.
So the there was an interview by the lead developer on what he wanted to do with this game, which I actually have just one quick thing onto what he was going for. So this is by Urui. So, quote, well, I have two, in the early planning stage, this is the question. This is from E3 in 2002.
Oh, jeez.
In the early planning stages, did you ever consider making something besides a pure action game with Shinobi? Something slower, more of an adventure-paced game? Or was this always intended as an action game? Urui. Well, I have two answers for that. The version you see this time is pure action, but in the background there's a long story, and you have to look for maps and other things. It's still an action game, but you could call it an action-adventure. Another is the game is on the market right now classified as action-adventure. We don't feel attracted to those as far as the action goes. You have action, holds one hand to the side, and then you have adventure, holds the other one the other way. Usually action is 2, and adventure is 8, as he puts a ratio there. He wants the ratio to be 6 to 4 to bring action more to the forefront. And I totally see what he was going for in the game, for sure, in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the adventure part was you just trying to go from point A, point B in the level, right? While the action is you can only do that if you kill all the enemies to progress quick enough before the sword starts taking you out. And at the end of that, you culminate with the boss battles. I found the interview by the guy very interesting, and he goes on to say there was a lot of spiritual things taken from the original arcade game, which we definitely seen, such as one of the first bosses is a helicopter spouting missiles and ninjas flying out of it, just like the second boss in the Master System Shinobi, the arcade. The exact same. Yeah. I thought the controls were very responsive. The camera was fast-paced, matched the action on the screen. The snap camera, though, was a bit jarring. Took some getting used to, especially with today's camera movements. I thought the environments felt too empty, but it definitely matched the time of what it was capable of, so I didn't let it bother me too much. I really liked the wall running, but it really wasn't utilized to its potential, unlike, let's say, Prince of Persia, for sure.
Or
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same universe confirmed.
So, give me some of you guys' thoughts here. I've been rambling over what this game is.
I didn't get to play too much of this, unfortunately, so I'm kind of getting it from you. I first level, and I was like, "Yep, got it. I got to go to work," and then it's time for the podcast.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because even after the first level, nothing really changes in the game after that.
Oh, good. So I got it all then.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the gameplay and everything? As I mentioned,
I mean, the game's pretty, and I don't know. It controls well. It plays well. It's just even on the first level, I could feel that difficulty coming on. It could be the stigma that I know what Shinobi is, but I was like, I looked at it as like in the time I had, I was like, can I even get close to beating this?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I gotta really put a time commitment in.
So did you get past the helicopter?
No.
I thought that was a lame boss fight, especially as the first one. I think the first boss fight, especially, I think at this point in time, the first boss fight should be something to get you hooked into the game. And to have a helicopter as that first boss where you're just jumping and then you're spamming the attack button just to... I mean, you're taking a sword to to a military helicopter.
It's a fucking ninja sword.
It's one that sucks the souls of the enemies.
Or you. Whichever. Whoever's on the menu that day. I hunger.
I am Sinistar.
Should have played Sinistar, JD.
What about you, Colin? What do you got to say over Shinobi on the PS2?
Really tell it's got a lot of proto elements that went into a lot of future games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, the double jump and dash mechanics. For a while, I felt like they were reminding me of some game I had played before, but couldn't for the life of me remember what.
Celeste?
At first.
Don't say that.
First, I thought Devil May Cry, And then I thought Jack and Daxter before I finally realized it was Nier Automata.
There you go. Yeah, with the whole dash teleport type thing.
They're hitting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
No, that wasn't in Shinobi, was it? I don't know. I thought the red ribbon that trailed behind the main character as he runs looks really cool, even if it serves no practical purpose.
No, it definitely became kind of like an iconic little symbol for Shinobi, for sure. Going forward.
And the combat itself is pretty satisfying, although locking onto enemies can be a little bit of a pain. But something about zipping around a crowd of enemies and slashing them from behind and seeing the cinematic, it felt pretty awesome. And slightly reminded me of the Batman Arkham Asylum games, just missing the counter mechanic.
Yeah, this game could have definitely... I'm not actually sure what it could have done better other than to space up the monotony of it. I know the lock-on, the targeting system should have been vastly improved because it was like this half-assed version of it. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, you said you liked the camera, JD. I have to disagree with you there. I had the exact same problem with this camera as with Blink's. It was bad. It was really bad.
Well, the snap was jarring, but once I got used to how the snap mechanic worked, then it was okay. You know, you gotta kind of move the character in 90-degree angles.
The camera with the right thumbstick, I noticed whenever I stop rotating it, it actually keeps drifting a little bit before stopping, and that really bugged me.
Yeah, like the camera was stuck on a wall and the momentum was taking it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, when cameras try to be real cameras. No.
Yeah.
I also liked the wall running mechanic that you mentioned, JD. That was really cool. You don't fall off after a while the way you do in Prince of Persia, so that kind of makes it a little more like Spider-Man in that sense. But
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I was half expecting when I first did the wall run, because the wall run I played in Prince of Persia, I was thinking, man, I'm gonna fall off after a certain amount of time. No, he just sticks to the wall. He's a ninja.
But
as real ninjas do.
Yeah, he's got spidey feet and hands. No big deal.
But why are they call your projectiles shuriken, but they're quite clearly throwing knives.
Sure, yeah.
It seems pretty obvious to me what the difference is visually between a shuriken and a kunai.
I was gonna say, yeah, they're kunai. I know these things.
So there.
Am I a weeb now?
Yes.
Yeah, right you are.
Need to get you on the anime cast as well, Kevin.
Oh, I got a thing to do. So, maybe next time.
I just have a couple other things to mention about the game. Let's see. I wrote down boss fights thoughts because I got through stage 3, so I guess that's 6 boards in total. First mid boss one sucked. That was just the helicopter. Second one was a bit cooler since you fight totally not Raiden from Metal Gear. Or Raiden.
Raiden.
Yeah.
I found that...
Sidestep.
Yeah. I found that I just hit him a couple times and used the fire ninjutsu move, and he was dead. So I'm like, oh, okay, that was easy. Second boss fight's kind of... So when you start that second level and you unlock the sword, that's when the game feels like it picks up. The music changes. The story is engaging. You got now the feeling of desperation. You're like, oh my god, I gotta kill enemies quicker to feed my bloodlust sword before it feeds on my corpse. But
wait a minute, am I right?
Just like my ex, right? Oh my god!
No joke is the sword is my ex. All right.
Oh god.
Okay.
But in reality, you're still killing the enemies in the same pace, and the environments are still just as bland and empty. Like, if there was things to interact with more in those environments, that would have probably been better, and maybe change up what enemies you're slashing. Make them more interesting, because the as cool as the, you know, if I kill four enemies in a row or what have you, then the cool little ninja sequence cut period will happen. It happens so often that it stops becoming cool too quick, and that's then all you do. Like, almost every enemy gets cut too easily. There's an enemy you'll encounter every now and again that takes like 2 or 3 cuts, or slashes of the sword, but it's always surrounded by the weaker ones as well.
So, but I feel like they want you to feel like you're just slashing their enemies. To feel
No,
like
no, that's exactly what they were going for. But I think because the whole using that Tate attack to like, it's cool the first couple times. It's not cool the 200th time anymore. So that's all you do through the whole game. It's just monotony at that point.
Whack.
Yeah. So I got to stage 3, where you face a giant spider boss, and it was a bitch, and I was super engaged, and I had fun, and then I was simultaneously bored at the same time. It was a very weird, like, gaming realization.
How you get? I'm trying to figure that how that even makes sense.
So I'm like, hey, cool. The story's somewhat interesting, I guess. I really like the mechanic of the sword slowly killing me, but I know exactly what's going to happen on the next level at this point. Jump around, slash weak enemies until I get to the next boss fight, and then I'm done. So, like, the original Shinobi had very different level designs. It had that engaging system of trying to upgrade your attacks. It was a side scroller. This, as a 3D game, no matter what it was, you were just jumping around doing the same thing over and over again. Like, the gameplay loop just didn't do it after a certain amount of time, even as action-packed and engaging it was at the start. Like, it just quickly wore on me, basically. It's weird because it's so much like Ninja Gaiden, but Ninja Gaiden always was changing things up. You know what I mean? In the 3D reboot.
Yeah.
This one didn't change anything, or at least it didn't feel like it. Yeah.
So Shinobi's okay.
It was, yeah, it's just okay at best. Honestly, you know, it's maybe a 6, 7 out of 10, really, at the end of the day. I'm trying to look at it in the PS2 era light, because if this came out in 2018, which I think like a Tenchu game did, like a few years ago, and it was kind of, I'm trying to remember because I did play that game for a little bit. It reminded me of this. So if this came out like 10 years later, same, then I would look at it differently. But I'm trying to look at it. It came out in 2002. Is this what 2002 is capable of? Try to do a lot of things like Prince of Persia did, but it just wasn't. It just didn't execute a lot of things as well as I think they could have.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll bring back Shinobi again one day and get it right.
Well, Sega has been talking about like bringing back a lot of kind of dormant properties, and this would definitely be one of them. For sure.
They had that 3DS release. It was okay. That was also brutally hard, though.
Yeah, well,
I don't know why they, like, some franchises are just like, all right, it's got to be fucking hard, man. Like, impossible hard. Nobody can have fun.
Devil May Cry, Ninja Gaiden. It's always a hack and slash or a fucking shoot 'em up.
Just chill, guys. Come on, let us have fun. No!
No, fun not allowed. You must never beat game. Only the best. This is
your
why we
hardcore.
make all fighting game final bosses cheap assholes.
I thought you were going to say, like, we all make them teabaggers. I was like, well, yeah, they do, I guess.
Yeah, well.
Well, that's why the Batman Arkham games exist.
Yeah.
Those boss fights were bad, especially in Asylum.
I did really like the cinematic scenes in this game
Good.
quite a bit,
Wow.
for sure.
I
Yeah.
never got to see one really. Minus your like standing.
All right,
there.
guys. Any final thoughts on Shinobi?
I'm tired from work.
I understand. Yeah.
I'm like fading. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, I'm getting a little. It's during day.
Why did we do this on a Monday? Oh my.
So Kevin, what was your favorite and least favorite of the cast?
Favorite Dick Tracy for Genesis.
Okay.
Least favorite Ghostbusters for NES.
Give me one reason why for each of them.
Oh, I mean, Dick Tracy, I'm sorry. Dick Tracy and Genesis, I almost got them mixed up. Holy shit. I got it. Hold up. Let me give my thought. Dick Tracy on Genesis, like that first level grabs you. You think it's just going to be, like we said before, a standard shooter left to right. But then like that mechanic of the Tommy gun spraying into the background is just something about that is so fun. And like just seeing the trace of bullets and where they're going to land and it's got to be. It made it turn into two types of like old school shooters, like your left to right platformer plus like almost like a Cabal. Remember Cabal? Anyone else play that? Okay.
It sounds
NES.
familiar.
Good game. It just turned into it's almost like a hybrid genre arcade game. Ghostbusters for NES. Nothing about that is good. What reason do you want me to give? We said a bunch of them, and they could all be some. Don't do this. If you're gonna make a game, see this. Do everything the opposite.
Don't make it Don't make it an other game first.
Yes, that's normally how games become bad.
Yeah, a certain Star Fox game comes to mind immediately.
Oh, Zero, right? Yeah.
No. You know,
Zero was going to be Star Fox 64 again, and then they were like, "No, let's do that," and it was bad.
Colin?
Favorite, probably Shinobi on the PS2. I mean, I get your complaints, JD, but they didn't bother me as much as they did you, clearly. So it just was fun with it. It's the one I wanted to play more of than any of the rest. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, come to think of it, I think I
did
did end up playing it the longest out of any of the ones. For sure.
I think it's the only one that you had a chance of beating, to be fair.
What did you say was your least favorite?
Yes. Fuck that game.
Which one did you hate the most?
Yes.
It cut out on me.
He keeps cutting out. It's okay.
Ghostbusters and
Yeah, he keeps cutting out.
The audio doesn't even want you to say it. There's a ghost. There's a ghost.
I will never know what game he hates the most. Is it
yeah.
all right? Is it the one with the guy in the yellow jacket?
No.
Okay, it's the other one.
Yeah, it was that other one.
Don't even say it.
My favorite was Shinobi on the Master System. I have a deep residing sort of obsession with it, but Kevin, I will say Dick Tracy on the Genesis was damn close.
Yeah. That's fine. I accept.
Yeah. Least favorite. We have another winner of the shit award. Ghostbusters NES.
And this time it was one of my picks.
Yeah.
This is the second time that's happened.
Yeah.
Blood Rain was the first, I think.
Yeah, a resounding it's awful. Alrighty. So that does it for episode 22 of the Red Leaf Retrocast, Retro Gaming Edition. This has been a super fun episode. You can find the podcast every so often on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and many other podcasting outlets. Come check out the new WrestleCast edition. There's the anime edition, which we come out bi-weekly. And the Modern Gaming edition, which is monthly. We just came out with the E3 predictions. So that should be fun. email for any topic ideas, games you want us to play, consoles you want us to concentrate on, down in the description below, and join us next time.
No 3DO.
Good night, everybody.
Save my audio.
Alrighty.
I am gonna make one
I think we're all pretty tired now.
fucking shot.
And we ended at 9 o'clock, Kevin.
You're damn right. I gotta make my lunch and get to bed. I'll see you bastards later.
Yeah, just
All right,
get me your audio tomorrow at some point, Kevin.
Get it when?
Get me your audio.
Okay. Shall do.
Yeah, because I don't expect you to send it to me tonight.
Gotcha. All right. Bye now.
Later, man. It was a super fun cast, though.
I liked it.
It was a lot to discuss. I like the topic idea. Just thinking outside the box.
It's definitely not something I ever would have come up with.
Yeah.
I expected anyone else to.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though. I liked it. It was definitely interesting, like seeing how like Shinobi changed and saw the similarities. Different Dick Tracy rendition. Ghostbusters was totally different.
Although I knew what to expect because I already saw the Angry Video Game Nerd episode on it.
I gotta watch his episodes now over the games.
Yeah.
I know I've seen the
actually,
Ghostbusters one before, but that was fucking years ago.
Yeah, he did like a 3-parter for that one. And on the 3rd part, he actually talked about the Genesis version, and he actually liked it.
God, I wish those hitboxes were better in that game. Would have made the game so much more palatable and easier.
It's funny, as a kid, we had Ghostbusters on the Commodore 64, and it was basically the same as what it was here, except not as playable. But there's a little more, there's actually a few more voice sound bites, like when you're trying to catch the ghosts at the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
If you take too long, the ghost will fly down and then knock one of the guys to the ground, and you'll actually hear him say, "He slimed me."
Oh, is that the remake called the Real Ghostbusters game or something?
No, this is just Commodore 64 Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that game out for the life of me, and it really wasn't much fun, no matter how much me and my siblings tried to make it fun.
Oh man, I'm super tired myself.
I'm probably head to bed in about half an hour.
Yeah.
But this was a lot of fun. Get down a lot of notes this time around, even if a lot of them were pretty ragey.
Oh, that's okay. Your audio was cutting out quite a lot.
My landlord's family is more active during weeknights.
Taking up all the bandwidth in the house.
And I turned the Wi-Fi off on my smartphone, so I guess that's really the only thing that it could be. Well, c'est la vie.
Yep, I'll see you later, man. Get me your audio as soon as you can.
I shall.
All
Good night, man.
Later.